Alright guys, so here we're going to do a demonstration of a damaged connector and fixing the wire while already in place. So we have a box very similar to yours with a connector that's pulled out here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create the same issue as you. We'll break one of these wires. Now for starters, one thing I'll recommend, if you don't have very much slack coming out, you may be able to open the box and cut a cable tie or two to give yourself a little more slack. Be very careful though. It's very easy to cut wires while trying to just snip a cable tie. But that could get you an extra inch or two, which might make your life a little easier for this project. Okay, so we will cut this purple wire right here. Alright, so now we have damage here just like you guys have, and it's kind of hard to see on this camera. So there's our cut purple wire here. And so now we have a pin stuck in here with no wire. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our extractor and we're going to extract that damaged pin. And as you can see, just that easy, I pop the extractor and my pin just kind of falls right out there. Alright, so damaged pin is done. Next step, now I know you guys have it a little more difficult because you're inside the back of a machine, but your box is also stationary, so you're not fighting it quite so much as me. So I'm going to take and I'm going to strip my wire back that needs a new pin. Right, and again, remember, we don't have to strip very far for these pins. Less than 1/4 inch is all you need. We'll take one of our new pins. We're going to load it into our pin tool. Again, we're going to be using die A. And again, if you see the back side of the pin tool, the open part of the pin goes towards the closed part of the crimper, and it's flush with the back of the crimper. Right, so now we will now insert our wire into our pin that's loaded into our crimp tool, and once the jacketing of the wire is just inside of the outer crimp on the pin, then we go ahead and crimp it. And we're going to squeeze. These are nice and small wires, so we can go ahead and squeeze them all the way until this crimper clicks all the way and then releases open. Alright? If we get a real close-up, you can see that's a good solid crimp. We're grabbing the edge of the jacketing of the wire, and then the copper itself is crimped in the second section. And again, I'm going to give it a good tug test and make sure that it's solid on there. Alright, now I'm going to reinsert it into my connector, into the proper place, and this one, since it doesn't want to quite click all the way into place, so I'm going to take my insertion tool. I'm going to put it right around the edge of the wire, and then I'm going to push all the way until the insertion tool goes in, and then you physically hear and feel a little click. And now, give it a little tug test. That wire's nice and tight in there, and if we look at the pins, all the pins are sticking out about the same length. So now we're good. So once you complete your repairs to your 2 or 3 broken pins, I would recommend, before you glue it back in place and it's again hard to work on, I would go ahead and connect up your joystick. Just try not to put too much stress on the wires so that you don't cause any more damage or further damage. But go ahead and plug in your joystick and test the system. Make sure the joystick is working correctly now. Once it is, then you want to carefully remove your joystick. Make sure that you hold both sides of the connector, again, so that you don't pull out any other wires and create more work for yourself. Then you're going to go ahead and glue this back into place. We will do, in case you guys have never used a 2-part epoxy, we're sending a special plastic 2-part epoxy with this kit. We'll go ahead and do a 3rd video on how to use epoxies in case you guys do not have experience with that. So stay